Hello, this is James North for BNPtv. We're here at the organisers conference in Stoke-on-Trent with the party chairman, Nick Griffin, and if we look around, Nick, no one's actually here. That's because we're debuting a new form of basic electioneering. Could you tell us a little about this?
Yes, indeed, James. For the first session today, we're not in here, but we're outside. We've got a questionnaire. It's 4 canvases, and it's a series of questions about how people feel about certain issues, such as bin collection, fuel costs, local jobs, council tax, and how people feel about those. And then on the back about the problems caused by immigration, and there's different problems might be caused in an area, Eastern Europeans taking the jobs, Muslim grooming of young people, halal meat and so on. How do people feel about this? Now we use this very, very briefly in a test in Barnsley, and we appeared to get a response that from different kinds of areas, basically in terms, social housing area, owner-occupied, actually very, very different responses as to how people feel about our issues. Not necessarily that they're against us, but that on certain issues that we would typically put a leaflet out about, say grooming. Some areas, people understand it, and it's a big concern, and others, they're going to think, what on earth are you talking about?
Of course,
So we're putting this out, or we're going out with this today to get the first, it's our first ever semi-scientific assessment of public opinion on our issues. And we're doing this for 2 reasons fundamentally. One is we believe that once we've got this, we can identify the kind of socio-economic areas concerned, and people will be doing these questionnaires in their own area anyway, and then use it to brief conventional canvassers, so when they're going out, they know what issues the kind of people in that kind of housing are actually concerned about. So we get our pitch absolutely right to them. And then if we get a really significant difference in certain areas, socioeconomic classes and so on, we'll look really carefully at to what extent we can tailor our literature, our election leaflets especially, to the people in those kind of areas, instead of having a one-size-fits-all. So this is about getting the knowledge we need to be much more specific about targeting people.
Brilliant. OK then, Nick, well, thanks for that. I know you've got a team waiting for you.
I have indeed. I just want to mention this. Also in terms of being scientific. So this is more scientific than we've ever been before. This is the new recruitment leaflet. It's very stark, very attractive, very simple, very modern design. Sure, we'll put it on the camera in a minute. But here, we've been debating for quite some time. It's a debate going through the party at various levels. Do we still need to talk about immigration? Or does everyone know anyway and actually want to hear from the British National Party, our position, say, on the economy and so on? Or on the other hand, some people say, no, that's our core issue. If we let it drop, then in PR terms, people will think we've gone soft. So do we in fact need to keep on hammering it? And in fact, the more, say, Cameron and Straw and so on try and expropriate our message, the more we had to hammer that message. And we simply don't know. Around the advisory council table last night, basically half the people were nodding with one, and half the people were nodding with the other. We don't know. So what we've done with this, we on the initial print run of these produced 300,000. And we produced 150,000 with, where it says here, no more mosques, stopping immigration. We care about your money, health, saving our soldiers, but stopping immigration. And the other equal number of leaflets, this is a housing issue. So immigration is in effect mentioned in housing. This is about putting local people first. But it's a much softer key way of mentioning it. And these are boxed so that there's roughly an equal number of leaflets of the 2 different kinds in each box. And we want everyone putting them out to put them out completely at random. So instead of using the 750 about immigration in one area and the 750 on housing in another, we don't want that. We want typically, if there's 2 people leafleting one side of the street, one person will have one kind of leaflet, the other will have the other one, so that different houses are getting them alternating. And then on the back, we've got a coding on the response device.
I see,
so this is the immigration one, this is AB21, the housing one is AB20. So we'll be the judge. We know how many have gone out. We'll see what response we get back. That's what's going to tell us which is more effective. So no more guesswork. This is about no more guesswork from highly political people like us trying to work out what the less political public think. We're not guessing. We're actually doing it in a simple but scientific way. And once we know what they really think, what they really want to hear from us, we'll tailor our message accordingly.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, thank you for that insight into what we're doing now in the party, and thank you.
Okay. Cheers.
Mr. Hannam, can we just pull you to one side for a second? Could you tell us a little about the results that you've had today out on the street using the actual questionnaire?
Yes, I mean, it was genuinely very interesting. I mean, the real strength of these questionnaires as they're designed is that for the first time the party is asking local people what they feel is important to them, as in local issues. And again, it's in contrast to when the parties felt that it could almost tell local people what they wanted to hear, where we think we know best, we don't. And this finally is actually communicating and connecting with local people. I mean, as a typical example, I mean, this is one of many questionnaires, but in a fairly affluent area, we discovered of a certain type on this one particular street that they weren't interested in bin collections. Why? Because they're an affluent area. They're not interested in public transport because they're affluent. They're not interested in council tax hikes because they don't feel it financially, and they're not that interested in safeguarding local jobs. So again, it allows us to tailor our message specifically to that particular demographic, that population, that local type of person.
Yes.
And this is where the strength of these questionnaires comes in. It really allows us to connect for the first time with what local people genuinely think really important.
Okay, well, thank you for that, David. I'll let you go in and plan the day train.
Okay, many thanks.
I'm here now with Cheryl Dunn. You're the new North East Regional Organiser. Is that right?
That's
now,
correct.
You've just been out canvassing with the questionnaire.
Yes, we have,
could you tell us a little about how you found the results?
I think it went really well. The local people were really happy that we were there, just to speak to them really and get their views, and that went down really well. The questions were perfect, really interesting, and I think it's going to be a big influence in the local elections and do well.
Okay, did it come up with any surprise results on your behalf?
Yes, it did. We found that nearly everybody we spoke to was really interested in immigration and thought it was a big problem. So yeah, I'm really happy with the results from that.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm here now with Councillor Michael Coleman. Mike, you've just been out, you've taken a team out doing the canvassing with the new questionnaire style leaflets. Could you tell us a little about the results that you had? Any interesting surprises?
Yeah. What's necessarily interesting for the BNP is not necessarily interesting for the people out there in the real world. What we're learning is that people are interested in gas bills, electric bills, druggies in the local park, things like potholes. These aren't issues that the BNP normally campaign on. It's not really what I got involved in politics to campaign on, but if we're to win broad support in the general population, it really is suggesting that we've got to get involved in those Garden Gate issues.
Yeah, no, they're two issues that I haven't heard of yet, coming back, but obviously it's something I've never thought of because we've never actually asked anyone about it. So do you think this is a good idea in future campaigning?
Yes, this and other ways. We need to gather information from the general population where we're going to be standing candidates. We need that local knowledge. Without that local knowledge, we'll never be able to undertake an effective campaign. And so that's what really I've learned today is what we think is important actually isn't necessarily what's important to that locality. So it's about local knowledge, local intelligence, and this initiative is going to bring that to us, so it's good.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, well, thank you for that, Michael.
Thanks very much. Thanks for talking to me.
Reverend West, could I pull you aside just for a minute?
Indeed, I'd be delighted to.
You've just been out with the new questionnaire style
yes.
canvas sheet. Could you tell us a little about the results that you found? Any interesting surprises?
Well, the people were very interested in the local issues that we raised, and they were particularly concerned about the increases in council tax and also transport and that kind of issue. And then when we got onto the more national issues that are affecting us as a country, such as invasion levels of immigration, the increased Islamification of Britain, foreigners being put at the front of the queues, a lot of them felt those issues were important or very important.
Yes.
And they felt a certain degree of justified anger in the areas I looked at.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. So do you think this will actually change the way we approach elections within the party? Do you think it has a positive?
Winning elections is all about intelligence gathering and finding out what people's concerns are and perceptions are, and then moving into that field to bolster the Christian principle of nations. And this is to the benefit of everybody, because in defending our own nation we're actually helping others as well.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you for that.
Thank you ever so much. Thank you. Cheers. God bless you.